Welcome, survivors! This is Eerie Knight of the Pseudoposse, and today I'm going to show you all 20 building tips that are necessary to build more epic, complicated structures in Sons of the Forest. Building tip number 1. How to position sloped logs without vertical supports. Simply stack horizontal logs to the height of a vertical log, place the sloped log against it, and remove all the horizontal logs. This technique is very important to create different kinds of structures, or at least it was, until patch 2 eliminated it from the game. Now the sloped logs fall down when trying to remove the horizontal logs. While this is a complete bummer, which would make my pirate ship currently impossible to make, there's something you can still do with the core idea of this tip. Let's go ahead and stack some horizontal logs and place a sloped log, except this time we will place an additional sloped log on the other side. It is then possible to remove the horizontal logs, leaving the two sloped logs standing. Normally, you'd need to have a vertical log to support this type of structure, which cannot be removed under normal circumstances. You can even place logs down to fill a partial gap in between, or build off of it to make more elaborate structures. Moving on to tip number 2. Vertical supports, whether they are placed for permanent or temporary support, are an important facet in building. But if a sloped log is connected to that spot, it can be tricky to find the positioning to actually place it. A trick you can use is to stack horizontal logs and then place the horizontal log you want. Once in place, simply remove the bottom stacked horizontal logs, leaving the top ones in place. Tip number 3. Tip number 3 is actually a different method to place a vertical log on top of a sloped log. In this scenario, when you have two adjacent sloped logs like on this roof here, if we place a single plank across the sloped logs, we can then easily place a vertical log. The reason this works is now that the sloped logs are bearing the weight of the plank, they can no longer be lifted up using a vertical log, leaving only the one interaction of placing a vertical log available. Building tip number 4. If you want to place two sloped logs that connect in the same spot, we need to place a log in the spot where the two sloped logs will meet that is the same height as the other ends where the sloped logs will be connected. In this case, that is half a log height. Now we place two logs connected to the half log, and if done right, should be horizontal. Lastly, all we need to do is to chop the half log into a quarter, and the two horizontal logs will drop down and become sloped. Building tip number 5 builds off the previous tip, and you can create extra stories as high as you want to. Then simply cut the supports on each level in the corner to create a very attractive corner section. For building tip number 6, we can take number 5 and create a cool wavy raised pathway. Simply extend the structure we built before the cutting, however far you want your path to be. Then, as we just did, pick a corner and start hacking away at the vertical supports. Then go to the diagonally opposite corner and do the same thing. Repeat this pattern all the way down the structure. Once completed, hop on top with some planks and start placing the boards all the way across. Now you've got yourself a really cool walkway, or you can even use it as alternative roof. Next up, building tip 7. How to create some interesting roofing geometries. Build yourself an elevated structure with planks on top. Then proceed to cut the supports however you like, which will cause the logs to shift and the planks to shift accordingly. Normally, you can't place planks in these configurations, but doing it this way will allow you to create shapes, some of them kind of wonky as you destroy more supports that would otherwise be impossible. Building tip number 8 is absolutely necessary in creating complex architecture in Sons of the Forest. If you want to connect a log somewhere within the length of a vertical log, you'll need to split the full log into parts where you want to make a connection. I'll use my Himeji castle as an example here. First, placing 5 vertical logs in total, 2 quarter, the middle log half length, and the 2 quarter logs as well on the other end. Oops, actually we need an additional quarter log on either end. Next, we will place the same size logs on the opposing sides except at the ends, where we will place nothing. Logs will now be laid down to connect the central vertical logs, forming a gable type structure. We are going to place 3/4 length logs on either side of the gable to connect our quarter logs. In the middle, all we want is a half length log. Adjacent to the gable, we are going to plop down a 3/4 length log on top of our quarter. We proceed with placing a horizontal log along the 2 quarter length logs and start connecting everything down the line. I swear we're getting close to finishing this part. Sometimes order is important. Here I am trying to connect a horizontal log between 2 1/4 vertical logs, but the arrow isn't appearing. We will need to remove the vertical 3/4 log so we can place the horizontal log first, then return the 3/4 log to its rightful position. After proceeding to fill in some of the easy logs, we encounter another example of where order matters. I want to place this sloped log, but all I am getting is this red arrow. There are already 3 logs attached to the point I want the sloped log to land, so I'll need to reconfigure this section. Removing the bottom sloped log allows me to place the sloped log I desire, and for some reason I can replace the log I just removed, thus having 4 logs connect to that quarter log. Interesting interaction, but whatever, just be mindful of this as you are building. Building tip number 9 is vital to create gables or to create roofing or other type of structures in which you want 2 sloped logs that connect to either end of a horizontal log and meet in the middle. If you take some full logs and cut a 3/4, half, and quarter sections and place them in that order on top of a horizontal log, it will allow you to position 2 sloped logs against the sides like that. Easy peasy. Speaking of gables, tip number 10 is how to make an easy gable. Starting with the frame of your pitched roof, place some vertical supports using building tip number 3 to get those logs in place. Then use building tip number 9 to get the triangular section of the gable constructed. Once done, connect all the sections with a horizontal log. Then you can start filling in all the planks where the gable meets the pitched roof. The plank sections will overlap, creating a seamless connected roof. Once that is done, simply fill in all the remaining gaps to complete your gable. For the next few tips, I'm going to present different ways of creating a spiked defense. Some require more effort than others, so use the setup that most fits with your playstyle. For the lazy ones out there, building tip number 11 is the one for you. First, you'll need to have some defensive wall set up. Next, place some sticks in the ground close to the wall on the inside where your base would be. Then take out your axe and aim at the sticks facing the wall and sharpen them. Place some rocks for some added durability, and if you head to the other side of the wall, you'll see the sticks protruding out of the wall. Any cannibals that try to attack the wall will get hit by the sticks. So if you need some quick defense against large sections of wall, this is a very easy option you can use to defend long stretches with little work. A more spiked wall for outer defenses makes use of horizontal logs. In building tip number 12, we start with placing down a single horizontal log, and when placed on planks, it allows you to place sticks right through the log, as many as you like. Then you can place some rocks for extra durability. Next, place another log on top. To get sticks up here, you'll need to position a stick nearby, and then when the white dashed line and circle is over the horizontal log, left click and you will place the stick on top of the log. Then you could simply place additional sticks on top from the first stick. Place your rocks and bam, a very spiky wall of death. A spikier spiky wall is possible if your level of patience reaches Zen-like heights. Sorry Taco Bear, that eliminates you. Building tip number 13 is based on number 12. Basically, why stop at just 2 logs? Let's stack some more. We can continue to use our temporary stick to keep stacking logs and sticks, except once we get too high, it is no longer possible. At that point, you'll need to place some temporary horizontal logs perpendicular, then use building tip 12 to get a stick on these perpendicular logs, such that then you can get a stick on top of the logs you actually want. It is a bit time consuming, but you can go as high as you like depending on the amount of time and patience you have. But it is quite worth the effort as it creates an imposing wall of spikes when complete. Building tip number 14 opts for a different approach to create a spike defense. Basically, create a ramp and start positioning sticks on the ramp. I would suggest starting at the bottom, as if you start from the top, you will run into an issue of collapsing sharpened sticks you've already placed. Once completed, place all the rocks for the added durability, and you've got yourself a nice spike defensive ramp capable of stopping any cannibal raid. Building tips 15 and 16 are vital to create more interesting building shapes if you want non-square shaped structures. To start, have your boring rectangular log structure set up. And then what you'll want to do is place a vertical log such that it is not connected by a white dashed line. Aim at the ground and you'll see a red dashed circle. Move backwards till it turns white and place it. Next, place a sloped log that lands underneath the existing structure and take another log and lift it up. This vertical log is now a part of the existing structure and will allow you to build off it in a non-right angle direction. Building tip 16 is the extension of this technique. We will do the same thing as we did before, but off the logs we just placed. Aim at the ground, log in hand, and place it vertically once the circle changes from red to white. Then grab another log, and though it indicates you'll place a sloped log, left click in the right spot and it will actually connect horizontally to the existing logs. If you keep doing this, you can create some quasi-curved shapes. pretty much any complex shape you can think of, which will enable the creation of more interesting structures. Building tip 17 is a trick I learned to speed up placing half vertical logs for struts that are specifically elevated above ground. Instead of bringing 2 half logs to place the vertical parts of the struts, bring 2 full logs and temporarily place a log somewhere nearby. Take the other log and place it where you want it. Cut it in half and catch the falling log and place that in the next position. Finally, take the temporarily placed log and repeat. Place where you want it, cut it in half, and catch the falling log and place the last one. This helped me build faster once I figured this out, so hopefully I can save some pain for all of you. Building tip 18 is the struts themselves. They are very vital to creating wide open interior spaces or to creating foundations upon which to build elevated structures. Plus they can save you logs, so win-win. Simply place some vertical logs, lay horizontal logs on top, and put corner braces on either end and remove the central logs. You can actually remove up to 4 central logs in between both ends. Any more than that is not possible. Building tip number 19 is the most efficient way I've found to build a temporary ramp to reach building sites that are higher up. Start with a sloped log against the structure and raise it up vertically with another log. Then place another sloped log against it as we did against the original structure. Head up and place a sloped log against the structure and repeat what we did on the ground level and raise it up. Then raise a sloped log with another log. Next, place additional sloped logs to the top. This can be repeated for however high you need to go, which will allow you to access build sites from the ground level without using a zip line. And lastly, building tip number 20. If you want to create a castle-like structure and adorn it with some crenellations, do it like this. Place some half vertical logs around the top, and then stack horizontal logs 2 levels high in between all the vertical logs. Once completed, you've got yourself some low-effort crenellations that look dang cool. And that's it, everyone. I hope these tips can serve you all well and build some cool, imposing bases. Let us know in the comments below what building tips you utilize in your own builds to foster the compendium of building knowledge. On that note, if you found the video enjoyable, please smash the like button and subscribe. It means a lot to us as a small channel and will help us grow. Thanks for watching. Till next time, survivors.